So before I start this movie review, I just want to give a big shout out to IMDb, where I get all my information and fun facts from. What's up, everyone? I'm your host with the most, Movie Mania Nick, and finally, I just went to go see the movie The Batman. It starred Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Jeffrey Wright, Colin Farrell, Paul Dano, Andy Serkis, John Turturro, and the director was Matt Reeves. And this movie is basically about when the Riddler, a sadistic serial killer, begins murdering key political figures in Gotham, Batman is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption and question his family's involvement. Alright guys, I just got out of the movie theater from watching The Batman. And these are my thoughts. It's my own personal opinion about the film. I guess I'll start with the pros. The cast was fantastic. First off, I mean, Robert Pattinson playing the Batman. And yes, I know he was in the Twilight films. And, I mean, he was good in Tenet. And everybody thinks about him from the Twilight movies and stuff. And, yeah. I thought he kind of bulked up. Oh, I thought he bulked up. But he really didn't. He was still kind of skinny. But I think the suit made him bigger than what he really was. But I think he did a fantastic job as playing Batman. The fighting scenes, the voice, he did a good job. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, fantastic. She did an excellent job also. Paul Dano as the Riddler, wow. All I have to say, yeah, his creepiness, his sadistic serial killer kind of way, the way he talked, the way he acted, his eyes, yeah, great job. Colin Farrell as the Penguin, or as Oz, you couldn't even tell it was Colin Farrell. With all the makeup he had on, it was fantastic. I'm going to be saying that a lot. John Turturro as Falcone, he did a decent job. He was all right. Andy Serkis as Alfred, he did a good job too. That's just the characters. Now to the cinematography, the action scenes. It was perfect. I thought it was great. Especially the action scenes, the fighting scenes. I mean, there are scenes in this movie I did enjoy. Between the car chase and when Batman was getting shoot up by bullets, but he was in a dark alley or dark room. So all the light you could see is from the guns blazing. And you just saw him beating up the guys. That was a great job. I like how they filmed, how Matt Reeves, I mean, of course, he was the director. He wasn't the cinematographer. But the way he wanted to present this film was a good job. Certain scenes in this film, from close-ups to the car scenes, from the shots there and everything, it was a great job. Comedy-wise, there kind of is a tiny bit of comedy in this. Not a lot. It's kind of more like sarcasm. But if you're used to sarcasm, if you know what it is, you get a little chuckle there and then and there. But otherwise, there's not much comedy in this film. And yes, this is a psychological thriller. It made you think. And who you thought it was, I mean, there's a lot of storylines in this film, I thought. But how they presented this was well done. And you think there's one story, but here's another story, and it just, like I said, it makes your mind think. Who's this character? Who's the rat? If you see the movie, or if you've seen the movie, you know. But honestly, I think the problem with this film, for me, I think was the time. I think it was a little bit too long, because there were certain parts in the movie which were kind of getting a little dull and kind of boring. But then it would pick up to the action scenes, or to, you know what I mean, the fighting scenes. And that's what got me more into it, more involved, more intrigued by this film. So just be aware that I thought there was some scenes in this film were kind of a little, okay, whatever, you know, let's move along here. That kind of didn't belong in the film, if that makes any sense. And there is one scene, no spoilers, but there's one scene near the end where it just blew my mind. in the, call it the jail cell scene. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. And I knew it right away who it was. No spoilers. But yes, this is a very, let's just say, political movie with the politicians in their world of the Batman. But I like how they used basically New York City as Gotham. Because there's one scene where you see, I believe it was the Gotham Square, but in New York City it's Madison Square Garden, the square part. But they did use a reference to New York City in this film to make it look like Gotham. But overall, do I recommend to see this film? Yeah, I recommend to see this film. Like I said, the only down part about me was, I think, the time and kind of got a little boring. But overall, it's a great film. I thought it was a pretty good film. But the ranking scale between this film, Christian Bale, and the Michael Keaton, I would probably say, I always like Michael Keaton. But I think Christian Bale, I would say, is number 1. Michael Keaton's number 2. And this is number 3 so far. And there will be 2 more films in this series with Robert Pattinson playing the Batman. But like I said before, yeah, I mean, if you like Robert Pattinson, you like Batman, if you like Catwoman, you know, the Riddler, Penguin, and all that stuff with the Batman series, DC, by all means, check it out. I highly recommend to see this film. If not, you can always wait until it comes on something else, Netflix, Hulu, Demand, Amazon Prime, or whatever else is out there. And now it's time for fun facts. This is the first version of Batman to directly address the black eye makeup under the cowl. Director Matt Reeves describes this version of Batman as a mix between detective story, action movie, and psychological thriller. Matt Reeves stated that Colin Farrell's Penguin takes inspiration from the character Fredo from The Godfather, which came out in 1972. The Batmobile in this film is a customized muscle car. It was Zoe Kravitz's idea for Catwoman to have long and scary nails without nail polish on them, so they looked more like claws. It was Robert Pattinson's idea and improvised the line, "I'm vengeance." This is the first film of a trilogy since Robert Pattinson has signed a 3-film deal with Warner Brothers. Zoe Kravitz had previously voiced the character of Catwoman in the Lego Batman movie, which came out in 2017. And finally, director Matt Reeves imagined Paul Dano in the role of the Riddler as he was writing the script. And that's it, guys. That is my movie review for The Batman. I hope you guys enjoyed that. As usual, smash that like button, support, share, hit that notification bell. It'll notify you my next video or vlog will be up. Also, check me out on Instagram under the same name, Movie Mania Nick. And remember, stay safe, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes.